this is our 20th year at T3. It's our 20th anniversary. And so we really wanted to make it special. That's why we're in Las Vegas. That's why we're at the Cosmopolitan. I think the energy here has just been amazing. We're so gratified that all our friends and colleagues from all past years have shown up to really support us. And I think the content has been great. We've had some of the biggest names in the industry on the main stage here. And it's just gratifying to see how this community has grown so much. You know, every year at T3, there's just some really interesting takeaways. I think some of these are consistent themes that we've been seeing for a lot of years, and some of them are newer. So a consistent theme is no matter how much better integration gets in the industry, advisors always want more. And so I think we're still struggling a little bit to have a frictionless tech environment, but I do think we're making a lot of progress. And then there's newer things, like obviously 3 years ago, nobody was talking about AI, and nobody's not talking about AI this year. So, you know, it's different, it's fun, everybody's using the catchwords. But I think this year, for the first time, there's some substance around AI. And so I think we're giving people practical tips about how to better use ChatGPT, for example, but we're also talking about how AI is going to be integrated into all the software products that advisors use. Well, look, I mean, every year there's a few surprises in the T3 Inside Information Survey, but I think what's even more gratifying is the consistency. You know, in the first few years, we worried about validating the data, but as we see very similar answers year after year, we see patterns that validate everything we've been doing, so that's very gratifying. One trend we've seen over the last couple of years is, on average, the average score on satisfaction has been slowly inching up the last few years. That's a really good sign because it means the tech firms are doing a better job of meeting the needs of advisors. Advisors are acknowledging that, and we hope that that trend continues. I would say every year the survey shows not enough people are taking cyber seriously enough. Cybersecurity, when we ask, do you have a third-party cyber vendor? 100% of the respondents should say yes, and it's roughly 25%, which means 75% of the community is not doing what they should. We continue to make it a heavy point of emphasis at T3. We actually have cyber experts in the exhibit hall. For the first time, we had a Cyber Wednesday to encourage people to go one-on-one and talk to cyber experts, get your questions answered. You know, for somebody who doesn't know, what should I be doing? Talk to somebody, and they'll tell you the first steps. They'll help you get engaged. They'll tell you the most prominent threats, and at least let's cover those and make some progress. We also have one of our companies, FCI here, who is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best in the industry. They brought some hacker tools just to demonstrate to advisors some everyday hacks that can happen when they're here, when they're in an airport, when they're anywhere. And so we're really trying to raise the awareness. Over the last few years, we've been trying to recognize people and firms that are really doing extraordinary things. And this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner was Eric Clark. I think everybody in this industry knows who Eric is. He's been the CEO for 25 years of Orion. Ironically, when we decided to give him the award, we did not know he was transitioning out. So it just said our timing was pretty good. But, you know, Eric is a giant in the industry and also one of the nicest personalities you'll ever meet. I've been doing this a long time. I've never heard anybody say a bad word about Eric. On the contrary, I don't think there's anybody who's been around for a while whose life he hasn't touched, and they're very gratified, you know, very grateful, and so are we. I mean, we couldn't have done what we've done at T3 without the support of Eric Clark and Orion over the years. Usually we hand out one emerging tech winner. This year we gave out 2 awards because there's just so many new and interesting firms. It just seemed like one wasn't enough. So we recognized Syntax Data, which is a data company. We usually don't recognize data companies, but we think the product they have is so unique and so beneficial to advisors that we just want to shine a spotlight on them so people get to know them. Sora Wealth is the other one. I wrote an article over 20 years ago about how advisors needed to spend more time looking at the liability side of the balance sheet. Everybody ignored that article when I wrote it because the financial incentives weren't there. Everybody was getting paid to manage assets. They weren't getting paid to manage liabilities. Now that I think it's more of a true holistic financial planning community where people do take a more holistic view of clients' lives, they need the tools to be able to do this better. And Sora has a really good tool to help you do that.